China and Ukraine. North Korea testified the new tactical guided weapons yesterday. What is the U.S. reactions on that? Second one, Ukraine President Zelensky is reported to have asked President Biden to designate Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism. Will the U.S. accept this? So I will follow next.
Let me start with that question just because it's adjacent to Simon's question. As I mentioned just a moment ago, we have worked with some 30 countries across 4 continents to impose unprecedented costs on the Russian Federation with our economic sanctions, other economic measures, including our export control measures. We are going to look at all potential options that are available to us under the law, options that would be effective in holding Russia to account. And if a tool is available and effective, we won't hesitate to use it. When it comes to the DPRK's most recent provocations, I know that the Department of Defense issued a statement on this. They noted that the department was aware of the DPRK's statement, that they conducted a test of a long-range artillery system. As you know, we're closely monitoring the situation on the Korean Peninsula, and we have warned of the possibility of additional potential provocations from the DPRK. It just so happens that our special envoy for the DPRK is currently in Seoul. He had a series of meetings in Seoul earlier today. He spoke publicly as well to make the point that his engagement with our ROK allies showcases the coordination and underscores our rock-solid commitment to the region. Ambassador Sung Kim went on to say that we're determined to protect the security of the United States and that of our allies, the ROK and Japan. And he noted that our goal continues to be the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Sung Kim, Deputy Secretary Sherman, Secretary Blinken have engaged regularly, bilaterally, with our ROK counterparts, bilaterally with our Japanese allies, trilaterally with our ROK and Japanese allies together. We have, in all of those engagements, sought to make very clear to the DPRK that the door to diplomacy is not closed, that it does remain open, but that the DPRK needs to cease its destabilizing actions and instead choose the path of engagement, something it has not yet done. We are willing to listen to the full range of the DPRK's concerns, but this can only happen through dialogue, and the DPRK has not yet given any concrete indications that it is open to this dialogue. They have done this notwithstanding the fact that we've made clear on many occasions, including right here, that we harbor no hostile intent towards the DPRK. And we've also made clear that we are willing to meet without preconditions to engage in this dialogue. Unfortunately, it is the DPRK that has failed to respond to our invitations, and instead they have engaged in this series of provocations, including the ICBM launches in recent weeks. We have worked with our allies in the region, we've worked with our allies well beyond the region, and we've worked in the UN context to make clear our condemnation of these recent ballistic missile tests, each of which was in violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions. These launches, these tests, have demonstrated that the DPRK continues to prioritize its WMD and ballistic missile programs at the expense of regional and international security. And in response to these provocations, in whole and in part, we have taken a series of diplomatic, economic, and military measures. We've detailed them in some depth, both from here and throughout this administration. Our actions are intended to make clear to the DPRK that its escalatory behavior has consequences. Those consequences will continue as long as the DPRK continues with its provocations.
The last questions. China is a special representative for North Korea's nuclear program, opposed additional UN Security Council sanctions on North Korea, and retaliated that the U.S. and North Korea should resume early dialogue. What is your comment? China always say that they need dialogue, resume the dialogue, but they not help. They not roll over the,
Well, when it comes to the latter element, that's also been our point. We have made very clear that the door to diplomacy, the door to dialogue remains open. We have signaled that publicly, we have signaled that privately, but as I just detailed, the DPRK has yet to engage on those suggestions. We have engaged not only with our close allies, Japan and the ROK, but also with other stakeholders, including regional stakeholders. And of course, the PRC is an important regional stakeholder. We recently had a meeting with the PRC's special envoy for the DPRK. It's important that we continue to engage partners like the PRC on this, given that the PRC does wield a good degree of leverage with the DPRK. Yes.